So this 14-year-old girl is about to survive the deadliest maritime disaster of the 20th century, and for the next 25 years, nobody's going to know her name. Her name is Valeriana Duma. It's December 20th, 1987, and she's boarding a ferry called the Doña Paz in Tacloban on the island of Leyte in the Philippines. It's the week before Christmas, so the boat is packed. People are heading home to Manila to see their families for the holidays. Valeriana's just one face in a crowd that's about to become one of the deadliest crowds in maritime history. Here's the thing about the Doña Paz. On paper, it's licensed to carry 1,518 passengers. That's the legal limit. But this is the Philippines during Christmas season, and ferry companies here have a habit of selling tickets that never make it onto the official manifest. So while the paperwork says maybe 1,500 people are on this boat, the real number is closer to 4,000. Nobody's checking. Nobody's counting. The life jackets are locked away in storage, and the ship doesn't even have a working radio. The Doña Paz leaves Tacloban at 6:30 in the morning, commanded by Captain Eusebio Nazareno, with a scheduled stop in Catbalogan before the final run to Manila. It's supposed to arrive around 4 a.m. the next day. For most of the trip, nothing unusual happens. The sea is choppy, but the sky's clear. Passengers eat, sleep, talk. Valeriana settles in for what should be an ordinary overnight crossing. But at around 10:30 that night, while most of the passengers are asleep, something is quietly going very wrong. According to survivors who were awake, the bridge crew of the Doña Paz isn't exactly focused on the water. The captain is reportedly in his cabin. Some of the officers are said to be drinking and watching a movie. That leaves a single junior crewman actually watching where the ship is going as it moves through one of the busiest shipping lanes in the country. Meanwhile, there's another ship out there that has no business being at sea at all. It's an oil tanker called the MT Vector, carrying 8,800 barrels of gasoline and petroleum products for Caltex. The Vector doesn't have a valid license to operate. It doesn't have a proper lookout. Its most senior navigator is only certified as a second mate, and a former captain later tells investigators the rudder was defective. It took 2 men just to steer the thing. So you've got an overloaded ferry with a drunk adjacent bridge crew and no radio, crossing paths in the dark with an unlicensed, badly steered tanker full of fuel. Neither ship sees the collision coming until it's already happening. At 10:30 p.m., near a place called Dumali Point in the Tabla Strait, the Doña Paz and the MT Vector collide. The impact alone doesn't kill most people. What kills them is what happens next. The Vector's cargo ignites on impact, and within seconds, fire is spreading across the surface of the water and up onto both ships. Survivors describe hearing a crash, then an explosion, then the lights going out. Passengers wake up to a ship that's already on fire, with no time to launch a single lifeboat. People start jumping, without life jackets, into water that's covered in burning oil. Valeriana is 14 years old, and she goes into the sea along with everyone else, into water that survivors later describe as boiling. And it gets worse. These waters are full of sharks. As the fire spreads and the ships start to go down, people are burning, drowning, and being pulled under, all at the same time, all in the dark. The Doña Paz sinks within about 2 hours. The Vector takes about 4. Neither ship manages to send a distress call. There's a cargo ship nearby, the MV Don Claudio, whose crew sees the explosion and heads over to help. But it's slow and it's late, and by the time real rescue efforts start, there's almost nobody left to save. Philippine maritime authorities aren't even notified of the disaster for 8 hours. It takes another 8 hours after that to fully mobilize search and rescue. Out of an estimated 4,400 people between both ships, only 26 survive. 24 from the Doña Paz, 2 from the Vector. All 58 crew members of the ferry die, including the captain. Valeriana is one of the 24. But here's where this story gets strange. In the chaos and confusion after the disaster, officials are trying to piece together exactly who survived and who didn't. And Valeriana somehow falls through the cracks. She's never officially logged as one of the confirmed survivors. For the next 25 years, the world's list of Doña Paz survivors doesn't include her name. In the days after the sinking, the ferry's owner, Sulpicio Lines, announces that the Doña Paz was insured for 25 million pesos. They offer to pay grieving families 20,000 pesos per victim, and only for the people who were actually listed on the official manifest, which, remember, is maybe a third of the people who were actually on that boat. Thousands of families whose relatives were on board illegally get nothing, because as far as the paperwork is concerned, their loved ones were never there. Hundreds of people stage a rally in Manila demanding the company account for the missing. It takes over a decade for the courts to sort out who's actually responsible. In 1999, the Philippine Supreme Court rules against Vector Shipping and its owner, finding the tanker was unseaworthy and that its negligence caused the collision. In 2008, the court goes further and clears Caltex, the company that chartered the tanker, of any responsibility at all. Vector is ordered to pay a fraction of what one single family lost, 800,000 pesos, to settle with the family of just one set of victims. And here's the part that should make you angry. Sulpicio Lines doesn't stop operating after killing over 4,000 people. Less than a year later, in October 1988, their sister ship, the Doña Marilyn, sinks off Leyte, killing around 300 more people. 10 years after that, another one of their ships, the Princess of the Orient, sinks in a storm near Manila Bay, killing around 200. And in 2008, the Princess of Stars sinks near Sibuyan Island, killing roughly 800 more people. One company, 4 disasters, close to 5,000 dead over the span of just 20 years, and it barely changes how the Philippine ferry industry operates. For 25 years, Valeriana Duma just lives with what happened to her, off the record, unlisted, one of the deadliest disasters in human history, and her name isn't even on the official list of people who lived through it. Then, in 2012, she finally comes forward on a television program and tells her story publicly for the first time. She'd been 14 years old, in the water, surrounded by fire, and she survived. And somehow, for a quarter of a century, almost nobody outside her own life knew. In 2019, more than 30 years after the collision, a research vessel called the Petrel finally locates the wrecks. The Vector is sitting upright, 500 meters down. The Doña Paz is resting nearby, 2,200 meters away, in the same dark water where it went down that December night. To this day, it remains the deadliest peacetime maritime disaster ever recorded, deadlier than the Titanic almost 3 times over, and most people have never even heard of it.